7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I thought I would do an updated brow routine of how I fill in my eyebrows, but also how I've grown out my eyebrows. As you guys ask this all the time on Instagram DMs, Snapchat, like all the time. I have been posting occasionally on Snapchat. I haven't done it recently because I feel like they've maybe stopped growing, maybe, who knows. But I was posting updates of my brows as they were growing, so if you follow me on Snapchat you would have seen those. But yeah, I have been growing out my eyebrows for probably in total like maybe 6 months, but I would say, as I just said a second ago, I feel like they have maybe stopped growing now. But then I have read up that sometimes you get growth spurts with your eyebrows, so I'm just letting them be. Basically, by saying I'm growing them, I have done nothing to them at all. So I haven't like had them threaded, I haven't plucked any. And when I say any, I mean any. Like even if I have like a weird stray that's basically on my forehead, I just haven't plucked it. Like I've just let them be. Au naturel, that is the look we're going for. So yeah, I haven't had them threaded, waxed, plucked, tinted, like nothing. So this is my brows in their natural form as of right now. As you can see, they're super messy. I feel like from far away they do have a shape. Like my natural shape is not bad, but they definitely are way overgrown when you zoom in, especially. Like you can see there's just like hairs everywhere. But personally I really like that look. I like the look of even when they're filled in you still have strays. That's just my jam. So if that's not your jam, you're not going to like this video. Unless you want to grow your eyebrows out and then shape them, then maybe you might like to stick around. But anyway, so I have just let them be and let them grow. And then I started also using, I use a lash growth serum, not a serum, a lash growth product. It's basically like Latisse, which is only in America. You can't get that in the UK. And even in America, I believe you have to have a prescription for it, and it's super duper expensive. I think it's like £100 just for like a tiny little bottle. So I did some research on it and saw some other YouTubers recommend a kind of generic version of it. I did speak to one of my doctor friends as well, and they said, yeah, it is the same thing, it's just not branded. So this is what I use. It literally looks like eye drops, and the reason why I don't really speak about these is because I'm not a doctor, I'm not a pharmacist, I'm not anything, so I don't want to recommend this to you in case it has any side effects for you, you know, because you are supposed to have this on prescription only. It is prescription only. I used to get a prescription from my doctor for it, and he was happy to do it, but then they stopped doing the strength I wanted, and then I looked online and I found it on a website that I buy it from. Me and my friend Danny Bear, we both use this, and we haven't had any problems at all. We both do have blue eyes, because one of the main side effects for it is that it can give you brown spots on your eyes, which obviously if you had brown eyes you wouldn't notice, but if you've got blue or green you would. I personally haven't had that, and nor has she, and I've used it for on and off for probably a year now. But the reason why I'm telling you about this, you're like, why are you talking about lash growth serum? We're talking about eyebrows here. But I started using it on my eyebrows. Literally just one drop on each eyebrow. I just like, with my finger, just like pat it onto my eyebrows. I definitely feel like this has helped my eyebrows grow. Like hairs that were very short or even like fair, like blonde, you can now see, because this stuff is meant to make your lashes blacker, thicker and longer. So I feel like it's done the same with my eyebrows. They're thicker and they're darker, and there's also just more hair that has come. These eye drops are actually meant to be prescribed for people with, I think it's glaucoma, I think. But it was just a known side effect of these that it makes your eyelashes grow. So I use this now just on my eyebrows, because I just don't really want to use it on my eyes because it scares me a little bit. So every now and then I will use it on my eyes, but not often at all, because the side effects just scare me. But for me, like eyebrows, like, yeah, they're not going to fall out, you know, hopefully. I've had no issues with it. So it's just like a little disclaimer, like try your own risk. I'm not saying definitely go and get this. I'm not saying it's 100% like legit. Like, I don't know. This has just worked for me, and I haven't had any side effects from it. But please, please, please do your research on it before you purchase it, or speak to your doctor or whoever. But I will leave the name of it in the description bar down below. So I've been using that on my eyebrows to make them grow. That is my secret. I don't know if it's really a secret, because I don't know if they've just grown on their own or if it is this. I think it's this personally, but who knows. There are plenty of brow serums out there you can buy, but this is super cheap. I think I buy 3 of these in one go, and I think 3 is like $35, which is like, what, £25-ish for 3 bottles. And as I said, you only need a drop, so it lasts like a long time. But that is how I've grown my eyebrows. The products I use, which I will show you a demo in a second, is they're both Benefit. I just really like Benefit brow products at the moment. So I use the Gimme Brow by Benefit in shade number 3, and then I use the Precisely My Brow Pencil in shade number 4. I do switch up the shades depending on what mood I'm in. If I want them to be a bit darker, I will use the Gimme Brow in number 4 and the pencil in number 5, or vice versa. Or basically I have 3, 4 and 5 of both of these, so depending on how dark I want them at the time, depending on how heavy my makeup is usually, will be depending on what shade I use. But I'd say my go-to shades right now is 3 and 4 for just like this, like how they are now, just like everyday brows. I really like that bushy effect. As I said, if that's not your jam, do you. You could do what I do, but then clean up underneath with concealer to hide the stray hairs if you wanted to. I just don't like that, but if you like that, then go for it. So I'm just going to quickly jump into the tutorial on me doing my brows. Okay, so this is really backwards, but I actually start off by applying the Gimme Brow, so the tinted brow gel in number 3. I know, like, this is weird, but for me, I just prefer to do it this way because then I can really see what I'm working with. You can see the difference the brow gel makes, and if I'm not really wearing any makeup but I want to pop to the shops, then that is the only step I would do. Then moving on to Precisely My Brow Pencil, I'm just showing you how thin it is because it's such a nice thin pencil. And using a super light hand, I first of all just underline my brow. So I basically just straighten this kind of, not the very front, but kind of the middle part of my brow, and then I join it up to the tail of my brow. But using a super light hand and making sure to be holding it at the end, not at the front of the pencil. Then I do like upward strokes to create hair-like strokes in the front part of the brow, keeping it super light and more feathery, bushy looking. And then I just give it a comb through, and then that is one brow done. So you can see all it's really done is just kind of like defined the line underneath the brow to give it a bit more a pop, because this eyebrow, as you can see, that's not been done, is kind of blends away, like it's got no defined edges to it. So again, just brushing through the brow gel, and then a light hand to define the underneath and kind of fill in. It's basically that middle section of my eyebrow that's just not thick enough yet. I'm hoping it is going to grow more. I will keep you updated. But just filling in that part and the tail, and then again doing some hair-like strokes at the front of my brow as well. As I said, you could totally clean up underneath the brows if you want to make them more crisp and defined. I just personally prefer them to be more natural. Okay, so that is how I do my brows at the moment. I hope this video was helpful. Give it a thumbs up if it was, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys!